Team USA faced their first exhibition game and they defeated Puerto Rico 117-74. So, a few things stood out to me about this game. I would say the first thing that stood out to me is Jaren Jackson Jr. I think this guy is probably top three in importance for Team USA when it comes to players, just the impact he has in the game. I think he might be their most important player simply because of what he provides for them on the defensive end. I don't think anybody can replicate what he brings. He has a huge impact on defense for them. And I think he's going to be very valuable for them if they want to win the FIBA tournament. So definitely he's very important. That was the thing that stood out to me from the beginning. He asserted himself. He made some great defensive plays. I think he scored like the first 8 or 10 points of the game for Team USA. He finished with 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks, but his impact was really good. The other thing that stood out to me is that Team USA has some really good players. I would say Brandon Ingram, Anthony Edwards, they're good players. And Therese Halliburton off the bench is a very good player, but none of these guys are superstars. Just they're good, but none of them are at that level. Maybe Anthony Edwards will ascend and become a superstar eventually, but I doubt it's going to happen during this tournament that he's going to emerge. Brandon Ingram, he's been good for the last few years, but it's not like he's ever been able to take that next step. So I just look at this and I look at Halliburton. Possibly he has a chance to be a superstar. He was very good last year, but time will tell. But when I look at this tournament, I don't think any of them are going to emerge and become superstars during this tournament. They'll still play at a very high level and just be very good, but not superstars. Why is this important? I think it's important only because when the offense struggles, and that's going to happen on any great team, you're going to have a struggle at times where shots are not falling. Your team is struggling to get easy baskets. That's when you need a superstar, because a superstar is able to generate easy buckets, easy opportunities, and just get you out of that funk. And I just felt at the start of the game, the USA was in a funk offensively. They were in a terrible rhythm. And it's like they couldn't break out of it. They were struggling, but despite that, they were still winning the game, just not by much. They were up by like several points for a long stretch before they finally broke out. But in this game, I felt what allowed them to eventually blow out Puerto Rico in the late third quarter was they went on a defensive surge where they just locked them down and they were able to shut them out, and that allowed them to go on a ridiculous run in which they forced turnovers and they got out in the fast break, and they were able to open up the court by sprinting. That was really the goal, just keep running and let the defense fuel your offense, which I think is a great strategy against most teams. It's going to work because Team USA has uber athleticism that can be suffocating on the defensive end. But the situation is that it's not always going to work. It'll work the majority of times against these other teams, but when you play against a legitimately great team in this tournament, they're going to be able to not be faced by the defensive pressure of Team USA. They're going to be able to keep their poise and keep their cool and still get buckets by moving the ball around and not panicking. And in that situation, I feel it's going to be important that the Team USA has one or two guys that can step up in a close game and carry them, because I think there will be a few close games they'll have to deal with where they'll need some guy to emerge and just carry them to victory or give them the easy baskets in pressure situations. So that to me is like the biggest concerning thing from this game, is that you just didn't have any guy who could really establish themselves as a dominant player. I would also say that their three-point shooting was god-awful in this game. They shot 6 for 27 overall from the field from three, but it didn't matter because overall from the field they shot, I believe, it was 56%, so that made up for the poor three-point shooting. But they had to be careful, because if they have a game where they shoot poorly from three and overall poorly from the field, they're going to lose. So you hope they can correct that. They have a few decent three-point shooters. I know Mikal Bridges is not bad. Ingram is also good. I'm trying to think who else. Jalen Brunson, I believe, shot well from three last year. Tyrese Halliburton's a good three-point shooter. Cam Johnson has been a good 3-point shooter in the past. And I think Josh Hart is also decent. So you would think that they'd be good enough to shoot better, but they don't really have like great 3-point shooters on this team. So we'll see if the 3-point shot will be their Achilles heel, but I think that's something that they should be concerned about. And just like I said, they need to have a legit one or two guys who can just put them on their back when they need to be carried. And I think it'll happen a few times this tournament when they play the truly elite teams. So we'll see. And I think despite this, they could still possibly win the tournament, even though they don't have a legit superstar, because I don't know how good the rest of these teams are compared to years past, but it's just something to keep an eye on. So that's all I had to say about this.